Many areas of Runescape look completely out of place due to graphics being outdated, and while some areas have no graphical update planned to release, others have. In this video we're going to cover some graphical updates that were never released, so whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. I got the idea to make this video after googling some stuff about graphical reworks, and then I came across this Reddit post by Gaga Lady. So if you're watching, thank you for compiling all of that information. The reason I was googling stuff around graphical reworks is because I vaguely remembered some old announcements. So here we are. The first model we're going to be taking a look at is the Grizzly Bear or Bear rework, which was completely designed in 3D with an animation and still not released. Just have a look at this, look at that. It's completely there on artstation.com. Now this was a model made by Jagex Sparky or Mod Sparky, also known as Isaac Pringle. Now they didn't completely not use this because obviously work was put into this. It's in the game, but it's a little different. There's a pet called Bjorn. Now the Bjorn pet was attainable through a prepaid game card, but you can also get it nowadays through a Premier Club Award token. Why they didn't update the Grizzly Bear itself in game is beyond me. Maybe there were some issues with implementing it into the game, I'm not sure. Or the 3D model might not have been liked as much because it kind of reminds me more of some dog instead of the bear, because if you Google Grizzly Bear on Google Images, basically none have their teeth sticking out like that because their lips cover their teeth. I don't know. Now if you type RuneScape on artstation.com, you actually find some interesting 3D models like the Solak NPC, Solak himself, the Elite Dungeon 3 bosses, and...
Hold on a second.
OSRS character rework? Could it be? Oh, yep, I found my thumbnail. There we go. In all seriousness though, this is some serious fan art, and it just reminds me a little bit of that streamer I don't watch. I swear I don't watch Amorath, or whatever her name is. It really does look like her. I would appreciate a wallpaper with something like this, KBD, and a guy in Bandles and AGS as well, in this same art style, or modeling style. Looks insane. Well done, Chili. Let's move on. Next up we have the Dragons rework, and honestly this is one I would like to see in the game at this point, but it isn't here. The Dragons were supposed to be reworked around or with the Elite Dungeon 2 aka Dragon King Laboratory update, which was back in 2018.
What we're doing is we've got concept for red dragons, black dragons, celestial dragons, gemstone dragons, all these cool dragons. I know gemstone dragons are new. Why are they reworking them? I don't know. You'll see. We've already started modeling them, and what we're doing is we're making a dragon kit. The first and the third boss very much use this type of dragon kit. We can reuse for other dragons and downscale and retexture and stuff like that. So we will be reworking red dragons, black dragons, and all of the above at some point, but not necessarily with the Elite Dungeon 2 release. So what you'll see maybe for a few months, I don't know, are the older dragon models for like the trash NPCs, and then they will be like supplemented and...
You heard them, ladies and gentlemen. A few months, June 2018, update released in August of 2018, we're now in March 2021. I don't blame them though, they probably shelved it and there were more important things to do. But yeah, Dragons are also free-to-play content, so that rework might not be a bad idea. Now, I skimmed through some live streams to find information about the next one, but I couldn't really find much. So there was this game jam project for 2017 that was supposed to retexture Karamja, as you can see in this image on screen. Now, this image was linked in the comments by Rubik. I later found a high resolution one. Now, as you can see, retextured Karamja does look miles better, but it still doesn't look very good. Let's say compared to the Ark or Anachronia, it doesn't, but still, this would be better than nothing. I'm really not sure what happened to this update or proposal for Game Jam. I'm not even sure what it was, because this is the only image I can really find on the topic. But what it comes down to is they wanted to use older textures and models to quickly rework areas, but it never really happened. Honestly, this would be better than it looking like old school or almost classic like some things do in RuneScape 3. Especially in older quests. It would just be miles better, and this type of update probably wouldn't cost them as much time as, let's say, a full Orphan Dig site level textures, lighting and so on graphical rework. But yeah, on to the next thing. In 2017 there was this update considering of Wilderness and Gold Rush Dungeon related reworks that was shelved or cancelled because the players didn't like these new models for the Gold Rush Dungeon bosses. Now, it has been confirmed by multiple JMods, including Mod Raven in the official Runescape Discord, that this update is shelved, if not possibly abandoned. And honestly that's a shame because some of these models, if they were actual models, I can only see concept art really, but they could have made a nice addition in the game, if not be used to graphically update all their models of other things. For example, the Goblin or the Centaur, or maybe even be used for pets. I don't know. Or they might have been smoking the same stuff as this NPC and they thought, nah, we're not gonna do this. Next up is the ship rework, which is very old, but this one is actually in the game in some areas, let's say Port Sarim. Some other areas like the Fremling province do have some updated ships, but there's also still older, outdated places like Karamja or the pirate quests with the old ships, which doesn't look very good. And I'm not going to go too in depth in this just because it's just inconsistent. I don't understand why they're in some areas of the game and not in others. Probably has something to do with the code, let's be honest, because they have the models in the game. They're actually quite an old rework as well, like 2012. You can see the old RuneScape logo. I don't know what's going on here. Now, back in 2016, the Dagannoth Kings received a graphical rework and a drop table rework, but the pets in game are still the old Dagannoth Kings, so they pretty much look exactly the same as an old school, which some people like and others do not. This poll was held back in 2018 in-game, and judging by the comments, the majority of people like the pets in column A. I believe this is still something we'll see in the game in the future. I don't think they've completely shelved this. I don't see why either, but for now we don't know. I hope they are added to the game though, because the Dagannoth Kings, the rework ones, look really cool, but to please everyone, they should definitely allow you to change between the retro and newer models. In 2017, there were talks about a Sears Village and Camelot rework, and not just talks because there were straight up models for the rework ready to go, but apparently something with the art style not being the same got it cancelled or possibly even completely abandoned. Not really sure why, because there's old areas in the game that still look good. Gaga Lady actually gave a few examples like Al-Kharid, the Tsar Caves, and the Wizard's Tower, which are all not the exact same art style and a lot older than, let's say, Anachronia or the Orvandig site. Again, I basically know nothing about this because as soon as it's shelved, you don't really hear about it ever again. Unless they unshelve it, of course, like the bank rework. Unlike the weather update, which, you know, we have winter priv, and in the Ark you do have rain at certain islands, but that's it. No seasons in RuneScape, in actual RuneScape around the world. You do have seasons in your play and farm, but that's different. Still an update I'm looking forward to seeing in game someday. And so there are many more concept art pieces or models that were never released into the live game. And that makes sense because not every concept will become a reality. That's just the way it works. But for some of these in this video, I just can't help but think how much better the game would look with them in the game. Despite them not being Orvan level graphics and textures, they would still look really nice. And like players have said and echoed everywhere, some of the newer models could be used to graphically update other things. For example, that elf from the Yak track could be used to update some of the elves in Scenaris. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below, because we have arrived at the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like down below and maybe consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.